Let's talk from your hearts. Hi, you're on the air.
Hi, my name is Jenna Lynn. I'm calling from Fort Lee, New Jersey.
Hello, Jenna.
Hi. I listen to your program all the time. Anyway, I'm 19 years old, and I've been to church all my life. And for the first time, I really think I have a conviction, And many years I've been to church, and every time I try to stay a good Christian, I've always thought something was wrong with me. The reason why I always sin and re-sin and go to God and say, forgive me, and then go back out and come back out. I always thought maybe something was wrong with me. Maybe I wasn't chosen,
Mm-hmm.
But, I've realized now that I didn't really have the conviction. I just went to church because my parents sent me.
Right.
I didn't really, although I loved the things of God, I didn't love it from my spirit.
Right.
I just loved it because it was good.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk on behalf of children who've been to church all their life. It's harder for you than people who've never been to church and then just become a Christian. It's really hard, And I just always thought when I was growing up, as long as my parents are Christian, I'm going to go to heaven. Silly, but I've always thought that as long as they're the kind of people they are, I'm fine. I'll go to heaven, But I just want to say that all you Christian kids out there who think, well, you're never going to make it, something's wrong with you, nothing is wrong with you. It's just that you need to go to God from your spirit. All the other times I talked to God, I was talking to him from my mouth just because I know that's what I'm supposed to do, and just keep on praying, and one day you'll feel the conviction, and you'll know that God has really called you, and you'll be able to stand and testify that, this is what you're supposed to be, this is what God called you for. It's not your fault that you grew up in church. It's good. It's just, you have to keep, don't give up,
Gentlemen, first of all, let me, you're not maybe asking for reaction to what you're saying, but let me give you a little bit of reaction, okay?
Okay.
First of all, you're absolutely right. You see, one of the things that parents need to be very delicate about is that any important choice in life, whether it's who you're going to marry or what you're going to do with a career, and especially coming to know and serve God, is something that has to come from your own heart, from your own season of life where you make that choice. If you had been in a culture where there was an arranged marriage between you and some other 4-year-old, there would hopefully be a time as you grew older and as you became adults that you would recognize that there's something very special about deciding to choose one another instead of having been chosen for you. And I think that any person who grows up in a devout home faces that. I love what a great American president said once, and that is that democracy has to be born into the heart of each new generation.
That's true.
And another great Christian said, God has no grandkids. And so for those who have grown up in fervent environments and who have felt like everybody's more fervent than I am, and who comes into a season of life where they embrace God from their own hearts, understands what you're saying, and that's good. I have to say something too, though, gentlemen, and that is that I hear pain in there that you apparently experienced, and that bothers me, and I hope that you'll also, during this season of your life, get some insight. Even though a child is not going to make an adult decision about God and should not be expected to, growing up in an environment of people who are committed to God should not be that kind of painful experience. And I hope that you'll also ask God to give you some insight as to why. That would mean to me either that the particular group in which you grew up may have been a little too rigid and may have expected too much, and maybe nobody ever felt like they measured up.
That's how I felt. I don't know about my brother.
Or there's some other things. It may not be the group. It may be your home. It may be some things that you've experienced in life. I mean, frankly, when you talked about, whatever commitment it was that you made, and then you would sin, and then you'd stop, and then you'd sin, that sounds like an addiction to me. And you need to really get help for it as that.
Yeah, well, that's That's what I thought too, and sometimes I would get angry at my mother and say, "Why do you have to be a Christian? You made this so hard for me,
No, gentlemen, that's not right. Listen, even for a kid who has not yet made an adult commitment to the Lord, it shouldn't be that kind of painful experience. So ask the Lord as you reflect on what's happened in your life, and as you come into this fresh season of having embraced Him from your heart as an adult, really ask the Lord to give you understanding about that, and I hope you can go through some healing from that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for your call.
Thanks.
This is Table Talk. My name is Rich Buhler.